Psychic visions that occur while you're having great sex? Throw in sexual orientation into this? That's a great idea. Sign me up. Hello everybody, I'm Dylan and today we're going to take a look at In the Blood, a horror mystery released in 2006, not to be confused with another movie of the same name released in 2014. There's no relation between the two. So, In the Blood 2006 was written and directed by Peterson. The production company is Superstitious Entertainment and it was distributed by TLA Releasing. So we start off at a college campus and there is discussion about closing it because apparently there have been rapes and murders of some young ladies on campus. But they decide to keep the college open. We then cut to our main character, Cassidy, played by Tyler Haynes. At first your typical college student with his horn dog ladies man best friend Michael, played by Robert Dionne. Cassidy welcomes his sister to the campus, Jessica, played by James Catherine Flynn. Early on, it is established that Cassidy gets some psychic visions, and it seems to happen when he gets sexually aroused. His visions also give him nosebleeds. He also seems to be questioning his sexuality, especially after looking at handsome best friend Michael. He eventually calls an escort, goes to his place, then chickens out. Cassidy also sees a mysterious older blonde lady on campus, wondering who she is. She turns out to be his estranged aunt, with the same psychic abilities he seems to have. He turns her away at first, but will eventually seek out her advice. He learns that his visions particularly occur during a genuine sexual experience. Cassidy tries sex with a girl but gets no vision. He realizes that his visions will only occur with men. His friend Michael also seems to be moving on to Cassidy's sister, much to the disapproval of Cassidy. So that's pretty much the setup for this film. College campus, main character has psychic visions when he has passionate sex, which for him is with other men. His best friend is using his best pickup lines on his sister, and there's a rapist and murderer on campus. Okay, so we seem to have some good elements in place for an interesting story here. For the themes, we obviously have the coming to terms with sexual orientation. It's definitely a unique twist. Can you imagine if you had visions or magic powers or something when you're having sex with someone you're attracted to? It would give away your sexual orientation, but it might be worth it for that specialty you have. I don't remember Cassidy having an official coming out scene in this film, so he hasn't officially come out. Psychic abilities, which kind of plays into the mystery of this film. Cassidy sees visions of his sister covered in blood. He doesn't get the full picture, but it leads him to believe that his sister is possibly a future target of the killer on campus. Finally, we have mystery. The film does a good job at making you wonder where it's going, who the killer is, etc. Although it may not go in the direction that viewers are expecting or would like to see. So, In the Blood is a pretty decent film. We know that a gay-themed thriller or mystery like this will probably be low budget, but the makers of the film are still able to build up effective tension, mystery, and curiosity. We want to learn more about Cassidy's clairvoyant abilities, why he has it, how it will serve him in the film, etc. The fact that it's tied to his sexuality gives it that extra interesting aspect, even more so with our main character realizing that he's gay and must embrace it to be able to even use his gift. As for the acting, it ranges from decent to not so great. The actors who play Cassidy and Michael are fine, the others vary, but the acting doesn't ruin the film. It still has that atmosphere needed for its interesting but bizarre setup. The film does put some very interesting pieces in place. I was never bored watching this film. It kept moving at a decent pace, the mystery intrigued me, there is a rapist/killer on campus. I was wondering how all of this would play out in the ending, and, well, I'll talk more about that in the spoiler section. Alright, speaking of spoiler section, let's go there now. So, if you want to see this film, stop this video right now, or skip over to the time shown on screen. Ready? Okay. So, Dylan's gotta complain about the ending of a film again, but it's not just me. I think the biggest problem that people have with this film is the ending. It's kind of a cluster. You see, Cassidy has been having visions of his sister covered in blood, so he comes to the conclusion that she must be the next target of the killer on campus. So he eventually steals a gun from the escort that he's slept with, which gave him his strongest visions in the first place. In his last vision, he also saw his friend Michael holding a gun, so he kind of concludes that his friend Michael might be the killer. So he rushes over to find Michael and Jessica, his sister, about to have sex. He pushes Michael off and points the gun at him. But the escort had been coming after Cassidy, probably to get his gun back and to stop Cassidy from doing anything stupid. There's a struggle between the four. Cassidy gets accidentally shot in all the chaos, with his blood exploding all over his sister, which is what he saw in his vision. So I'd say that his own vision screwed him royally. These events occur because of Cassidy's own actions, not to prevent some other fate from happening. If he had just ignored his visions, none of this would have happened. None of these four characters are the killer, by the way. The killer wasn't even involved in this. Afterwards, we see Jessica in bed, shocked at the events that occurred. We see a newspaper with a headline that says the killer was caught and arrested. We don't know how, or why, or by who, but none of it was because of our character's doing. God, what a nonsensical ending. The killer was the dean, by the way. So a college campus, young blonde ladies specifically, who were raped and murdered, and the killer turned out to be the dean. How creative. So yeah, it's not the worst ending I've seen, but it's anticlimactic. I mean, why didn't Cassidy's vision not lead him to the killer? Was that too much of a predictable outcome? It would have made more sense, or maybe have Michael be the killer, or the escort dude, or hell, maybe even Cassidy's estranged aunt. But no, the killer was somehow caught off screen, no thanks to our characters. I guess that's all I have to say in the spoiler section. As for ratings, In the Blood holds a score of 4.8 out of 10 on IMDb. It is not rated on Rotten Tomatoes. Now, in spite of a cluster ending, I don't think this film is bad enough to warrant such a low score. I do think there's some good ideas in here. This concept has potential. I give this film a 7.5 out of 10. The film does hold your attention, the build-up is decent, and I do like the characters, even if the acting varies. I just wish that the director had an alternate ending or something. I'd be curious to know what other ideas he could have had. I would actually like to see the concept of this film to be remade into another film. Psychic visions that occur while you're having great sex? Throw in sexual orientation into this? That's a great idea, sign me up. I still say give this a watch. If any of you have seen this film already, tell me what you think of it. Feel free to leave me a comment, like this video, subscribe to my channel, add me to Facebook, and I'll hopefully see you for the next review.